The title of this podcast is Work Harder on Yourself Than You Do Anything Else. What I found is that I grow exponentially when I make working on myself the primary thing. It changes everything. And I mean, before working on my job, my relationship, my other interests, my health, if I work on myself first, all those other things that I want to work on, it becomes easier to do so every single time. Because when I don't work on myself, working on those things are a real challenge because there's almost the smallest thing can throw me off on doing a good job in that particular space. So here's an example with my job. When I didn't work on myself, what I found my experience of work was complete unhappiness, discontent, resentment. All those things were present when I wasn't working on myself. I complained about everything, every person, every problem. Well, maybe not every person, but most people, especially leadership, I complained about. And who was doing that? I was doing that. My complaining, my discontent, my unhappiness, it didn't change the decisions that they made. What it did was it made their job more difficult, I'm sure. So, but had I worked on myself like I do now, it's amazing how few issues I have in the workplace. And the only difference is I've changed. I work at a great place now. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Are there things that need to be improved? Absolutely there are. The difference is I'm not unhappy there at all. I'm not unhappy. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I walk down the halls. I get into meetings with people, and I'm just filled with gratitude for this opportunity to work here. I have to pinch myself that I get to work here. I was talking to a colleague last night, and I was commenting about how beautiful the spaces are that we get to work in. The technology, the resources, the brilliant minds, the patients we get to care for, the staff we get to look after and partner with. Like, wow. And if I'm not working on myself, I will lose sight of each one of those blessings that I just named. It happens like that. The same thing happened in my relationships before. When I wasn't working on myself, do you know how easy it was to find fault in the partner that I was with or the friends that I had friendships with? It was so easy. It was right in my face. How could anybody miss it? I'm surprised they were missing it. But once I started working on myself, the things that I saw as imperfections in them, the undesirable behavior that I thought they were engaged in, it fell away. And what was left was me being able to be me being able to handle and appreciate and accept however they show up, however they choose to live their lives. That's what was left. And when it came to hobbies, I'm the kind of person that could take, or at least I used to be the kind of person that could take a good hobby and make it a chore, make it seem like it was a prison sentence. For example, I used to, and I still do, go snowboarding to some of the most beautiful places in this country. I mean, out in nature. When I didn't work on myself, I would find a problem with the lodging accommodations that we had. I would find a problem with who got which bedroom, whether or not there was enough snow on the ground for snowboarding and skiing, whether the lift lines were long or not, were long or short, or there were too many people on the mountain. All these things, I would make a problem. And who was doing that? I was. I was doing that because I wasn't working on myself. I was looking to the outside world in the form of people, places, things, and events to make me feel fulfilled inside. That's a dead end. It doesn't work. A lot of people still doing it, but it doesn't work. And I did that a long time too, until I started to work on myself. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing that kind of, I was engaged in that kind of behavior that doesn't work for decades. And then I let that go. And what was left? Oh man, blessings. That's what was left. I mean, just gifts and good fortune. That's what was left. So, whatever you're dealing with right now, let's just aging parents who are not aware of how their past choices or current choices or just you know their unfortunate health situation at the moment is impacting your life. All right, I didn't say it's hurting your life. I said impacting your life. Not aware. Before you start to address them, before you start to be upset with the current state, make your number one goal working on you. Make that number one. And then you will see something different happen. You will start to see a whole new world open up for you, the possibilities in that relationship. If you have to put boundaries in place, you put them in place. But you don't put them in place because you're upset, because you're angry, because you're resentful. You put them in place because those boundaries allow you to support your own well being. And then when you're with that loved one, to be there absent of upset and resentment, but be there present with love and open heart. All of that's a choice. So I encourage you, I don't care what it is you're dealing with, doesn't matter what you name it, work on yourself, work harder on yourself than you do anything else. And everything else becomes easier. And I say it goes away, but it becomes easier to deal with.